local station. News 4 Jax starts now.
New at 6, the father of the only suspect in Lonzie Barton's disappearance tells News 4 Jax his son has nothing to do with it.
He's not the monster that they're painting him out to be.
The 21-month-old boy now missing for 4 days. The police official leading the search blunt over his frustration with the man who last saw the child alive.
Reuben Ebron has the answers that we need. There are gaps in a timeline that only he can fill in.
More than 150 searchers on the ground, in the air, and in the water, desperately trying to get answers for the boy's family and for the community.
It is now day 4 of the search for this 21-month-old boy. Police are using every available resource to try to find him.
More than a dozen agencies, including the FBI and law enforcement from as far away as Miami, are now helping Jacksonville police. The sheriff's office says they will continue to look for the child until they have no place left to search. No news briefing is planned for tonight unless there are new developments. And there's a photo showing Lonzie Barton with his mother and who we're told is his biological father, as well as 2 other children whose faces we have blurred there for their protection. This was posted on a Facebook page called Help Find Lonzie Barton that was created to help get the word out about the little boy. News 4 Jax has a team of reporters on this search bringing you every angle. We go live now, though, to Jim Piggott, who is live outside the jail downtown. Jim.
You know, we talked to his father today. He said he talked to his son here at the jail, and he told him that he didn't hurt Lonzie. Now, his father told me today that he believes him despite his criminal background.
He's not the monster that they're painting him out to be.
William Ebron is retired military and says he was a strict father. He's praying for his son and praying that Lonzie is found safe. I asked him about his son, Reuben.
Have you talked to him since he's been arrested?
Yes, I was there yesterday.
And what's he telling you, or can you tell us what he's telling you?
I asked him point blank certain things. Did he cause harm to this young boy? And he says no. I said, did you unintentionally hurt him or something and panic? He said no. He looked me in my eyes and said, Daddy, no. And I said, you need to be 100% truthful with detectives, with everyone, so that we can find this little boy.
William Ebron says he believes his son is telling the truth, but today police say there are major gaps in Reuben Ebron's story.
You know, I really wish I could believe him when he tells me that, or when he tells his father that, but I can't. I know the evidence. I know the facts that we're putting together now. There are pieces that are missing.
They just don't believe your son.
Right.
But you believe him.
I believe he would never do anything to intentionally hurt a child. And that is my belief, not only as a father, but as a person.
In researching Reuben Ebron's background, we learned about a history of domestic violence and even allegations of a death threat made to a young girl. I asked his father about that and the life his son has led.
When we look at the backgrounds and domestic violence and problems like that, do you see where people are getting this impression?
I understand all of it. I understand all of it. And he's had some problems in the past, making bad decisions. But as I said to anyone and everyone, I know he would never intentionally hurt a child. He loves kids. And he loves little Lonzie.
William Ebron says he told his son that if he knows anything, he better open his mouth and say so.
I'm just praying for the child. I mean, just like I told my son yesterday, I said, I can't do anything for your situation because he's got the child neglect. That is child neglect. And I said, you have to own up to that. You have to pay for that. I said, but I just hope and pray that this child is found alive. I hope and pray that he returned back to his mother.
Now, his father also told me that he met Lonzie once, and once again, he emphasized that his son told him that he loves Lonzie. We're live at the jail. Jim Piggott, Channel 4, the local station.
Besides what Jim learned about Ebron from Ebron's father, we're also learning more about him from court documents like these. His criminal record goes back to 2005 with several misdemeanor arrests over the following 5 years. Then in 2010, court records show he was found guilty of grand theft and spent 97 days in jail. In 2011, he pleaded no contest to a domestic battery charge and served 47 more days in jail. That same year, he was again found guilty of grand theft and sentenced to 165 days in jail, followed by 5 years probation. He violated that probation in 2012 and served an additional 210 days in jail. Currently, Ebron and Lonzie's mother, Lana Barton, are co-defendants on several drug charges from back in May in Baker County. Duval County court records show that this month, the sister of an ex-girlfriend of Ebron's filed for this injunction against him for stalking. This document says he threatened the life of a 12-year-old girl and left threatening phone messages. The injunction also says Ebron told his ex-girlfriend that he, quote, knows the system and can get away with anything.
Well, police have been relentless in 4 days of searching now. As we said, 200 people are taking part, and Channel 4's Vic Michelucci is joining us live from the South Side, where police have been focusing their latest efforts. Vic.
Search for these officers, Mary. More than 200 officers out here over the past couple of days, several hundred a day, a lot of detectives, a lot of K-9 units, helicopters, dive team. You can see several of them are still here behind me. You can see there is a dive team boat. You've got a mobile command unit. You've got the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. You got Florida Fish and Wildlife on ATVs. And we also saw officers from as far as Miami-Dade Police Department up here in Jacksonville helping out. Now, I want to show you video of another scene. This scene really just started to see more police officers arrive in the past 20-30 minutes. This is south of the area where they are searching, south of the grid, but we are seeing more officers and more search crews going through this heavily wooded area. They really say they are not going to leave any stone unturned. They are going to hit every inch of grass, pond, everything out here, trying to find Lonzie, and the neighbors appreciate it.
This kid needs to come to justice. I mean, he wasn't asked to be put in this situation.
People who live and work in the area could only watch and wait. Pretty concerned about his safety by now.
Absolutely, that's awful. I mean, like, he's a baby. What is he going through?
They're waiting for answers about where Lonzie Barton is and what happened to him. Helicopters circled the south side for hours as police hoped to find something that would lead them to Lonzie. On the ground, hundreds of officers combed the woods and a dive team went underwater, searching the retention ponds.
As we search these retention ponds and can check them off a list, it's good in the fact that I know where he's not, and we're working through a list of where he's not. That's going to put us to where he could be.
Police say they will leave no stone unturned as they search for Lonzie and justice. But the man who they say saw him last, Ruben Ebron, isn't being cooperative. Police are holding him on child neglect charges, but now believe he's responsible for the boy's disappearance.
He has the right to not be left and thrown out as garbage.
Ebron was also watching Lonzie's 5-year-old sister while their mother was at work. The Child Protection Team has been talking with her to find out what she knows.
She's as helpful as a 5-year-old can be.
This morning, police did make a discovery near a business park near Phillips Highway and I-295. Human remains in the woods. Detectives soon determined they were from an adult male and had been there for a year or two. They're trying to find out what happened. Even though they haven't found any evidence about where the boy may be, police say they've gotten more than 125 tips from the public. They're following every lead, hoping the next one will bring them to the missing boy. And police who plan to be out here throughout the evening, through the night, and into tomorrow tell me that they hope more people can come forward. Any kind of information about where this boy may be, where they may have seen Ruben Ebron, anything that could lead police to finding out where this little boy is, or just really any details about why he disappeared. They want you to call either 911 or the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office at 630-0500. The community really appreciates all the police officers and all their hard work. We have seen that because so many people have dropped by food and water all throughout the day. Reporting live on the South Side, I'm Vic Michelucci, Channel 4, the local station.
Thank you, Vic. Now, we heard from Ruben Ebron's father. Now we're also hearing from the family of Lonzie's father, Chris Barton. Simply put, they're heartbroken and hoping and praying for a positive outcome. Channel 4's Ashley Mitchum joins us now. And Ashley, I understand earlier today you were in McClenny speaking with the Barton family about their desperate search for Lonzie.
That's right, Mary. So devastated. Most of Lonzie's relatives live in Baker County, and although they're far from the search area here in Jacksonville, relatives are hoping and praying from a distance, trusting The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office will get a break in the case and find their beloved Lonzy.
I'm hoping someone has him and they're just waiting for the right moment to just bring him back to his mom and dad. And I cannot wait to see his smiling face again. That's all I think about, is him just smiling and just coming to us happy.
Holding on to hope, Kayla Barton, Lonzy's half-sister, is staying positive and pleading for answers to the question of where her little brother is.
I would plead to just please, please, please let us know where he is. He needs to be back home. We're heartbroken and we just miss him so much. If you just would please just open up and just let us know where he is. We just want him back home.
Kayla is hurting like her father, but thankful for the support.
I want to plead at whoever knows Ruben, if they would please just get into his heart and make him realize what everybody else is going through. And I want to thank every officer out there, every support that y'all have given, the prayers, the beautiful comments, the officers that are working their hearts out, leaving their family every day and night to look for my baby brother. I want to thank y'all for everything you do, everything. And God bless you. Y'all are a blessing to our family.
He was just a happy baby. He liked to run and play and smiled a lot. And I just loved him.
She didn't want to show her face, but I also spoke to Lonzy's great aunt about the search for Lonzy.
We just want to find him so he can get some closure, and even if he's not alive. And we miss him and we love him. And we're thankful for everything that the community's doing, and the police officers and the news and, everybody involved. And we're just asking that keep praying for the family.
You can obviously hear there in her voice, she was really upset, crying the whole time, and she just didn't want to be on camera because of that. Now, this weekend, there is a vigil in Jacksonville for Lonzy, but in Baker County, there's also going to be a vigil. It's in McClinney, and that candlelight vigil for Lonzy is Wednesday in McClinney at 7 p.m. That's at Duck Pond Park. All family, friends, and members of the community are welcome to come. Tom, Mary.
Thank you, Ashley. Still to come in our coverage of day 4 of the search for Lonzy Barton.
Search and recovery teams are using different tools in their search for the child. Jennifer Waugh gives us a preview.
I'm Jennifer Waugh. This map shows what police are up against trying to find Lonzy Barton. A closer look at where specifically they're focusing and the technique they use to search such a large area.
And then there's the water they have to contend with. We're giving you a look at the search below the surface as our coverage continues ahead.
Now, Lonzy Barton's mother, Lana Barton, has not been seen publicly since her son was reported missing early last Friday morning. Police have said all along she is not in any way a suspect in his disappearance. The Southside bar where she works, Wacko's, is raising money for her and for her 5-year-old daughter. Her co-workers describe her as happy, bubbly, considerate, and responsible. With Ruben Ebron in jail, Barton's son still nowhere to be found, co-workers and the management at Wacko's decided to do what they could to help her. The Gentlemen's Club promises to match every donation from a customer or an employee.
It gives us a sense of a little bit of ease, that we can do something, because it's difficult sitting at home, knowing what's going on and just feeling helpless, like there's nothing you can do.
The Department of Children and Families tells News4 Jax the agency is involved in this case and is working to determine what is best for Lana Barton's 5-year-old daughter. DCF says they know this is a difficult time for the family and they want to be respectful, keeping in mind that this little girl could have lost her little brother.
The search for Lonzy Barton reminds us of the 5 other unsolved Amber Alerts in Florida. In some of those cases, those alerts have been active for years. Take a look. Jarkeus Adside was reported missing at the age of 1 from Miami. That was 14 years ago. The oldest alert still active is Zachary Bernhardt. He was last seen sleeping in his bed inside of his Clearwater home back in 2000. Here in our area, Haley Cummings. She disappeared in February of 2009 in the middle of the night from her Putnam County home, her 12th birthday. is next month. In Central Florida, Trenton Duckett vanished from Leesburg in 2006. Now Trenton would be almost 11. And Brian DeSantos Gomez was just a baby when he was reported missing from Fort Myers in December of 2006. Today, Brian would be close to 9 years old.
To say the search for Lonzie Barton is painstaking is to put it mildly. Officers looking through everything from dumpsters to woods, and then there's the water part of the search. Joy is joining us now with a look at what police divers are dealing with. Joy.
Tom, search and recovery efforts, they've been wide-ranging. Investigators have been focusing on a portion of land between Phillips Highway and I-95 and 295. Our Heather Lee gives us a unique perspective of what divers are seeing when they go into the water.
Divers have been in ponds similar to this one throughout the Southside area, and we wanted to see exactly what it was like for them down here when they're under these murky waters. So we got a GoPro and we decided to bring it out just to see exactly what it looks like.
Now, we were only able to put the camera a few inches under the surface of the water where, as you can see, we found a lot of algae and sludge. For divers going much deeper, you can only imagine how hard it must be just to see what's in front of them. If you have any information that could help investigators find Lonzie, please call Crime Stoppers anonymously. That number, 1-866-845-TIPS. Mary?
Thank you, Joy. Well, not only is the Sheriff's Office up against the clock in their search for Lonzie Barton and the terrain, but they're dealing with another issue, the terrain. Jen Waugh takes a look at what detectives contend with in their search.
And we know that police use surveillance cameras, DOT cameras along highways here along the south side to pinpoint Reuben Ebron's movements between last Thursday after 8 o'clock and early Friday morning. Now, they've been focusing, police have, specifically on this area. It's a Southern Oaks. It's a mobile home park where Ebron used to live. So I want to give you some perspective here. So this is the Avenues Mall up here. So Town Center is here, and this is kind of the 9A 295. And right here, do you see 295 and Phillips Highway? Again, this is the Avenues, and this is the Beltway that leads to Orange Park. It's this retention pond that they are really focusing on here. And you can see how much water there is. In fact, you remember Chief Hackney has said all through the weekend, and in fact, as early as today, he said, if there's a puddle, we're definitely in it. And you can see they have a lot of water that they have to search. Now, I want to show you something else that's been a real struggle for them. This is kind of blown out and showing you Google Earth, okay? So we've added in now, here's the water that I was showing you before. Look at all of this wooded area. I mean, this is the area here, so you really have a good sense of what they're up against, law enforcement, as they're now having to search, and they're doing this systematically. We talked to our crime and safety expert earlier today. So what they basically do is they take this area here and they put a grid over it. And this grid is divided into small squares. And so what they do is they name them. So for example here, so they'll number those grids, and they literally send searchers into that one grid, and when they finish that grid, they check it off. They move on to the next one, because if you think about it, it would be very easy to get turned around here if you're a searcher and you're maybe with some canines or some cadaver dogs, and they don't want to have to, obviously they don't want to waste their time by searching the same area twice. If there's a particular area where they just can't get through, maybe it's marshy, then they mark that as an area that they couldn't search, and they'll go back and do it again. That's really what the grid search is. So we certainly hope to learn more about how well they've been able to get through this, particularly over the last 48 hours. But the good news certainly is they now have Texas EcuSearch, which is helping. They have a ton of experience in searching wooded areas and even water as well. They started helping, in fact, today. And then, of course, they've had more agencies, more law enforcement join this search. And again, the major goal here is to get this done, to do it as quickly as possible, and to bring this little boy home. Jennifer Waugh, Channel 4, the local station.
Thank you, Jen. Our coverage continues. When you're away from your TV, be sure to head to our website, news4jax.com. Up right now, we have complete up-to-date coverage of the search for Lonzie Barton, including images and a timeline of the search. A printable Amber Alert flyer there is on inside our top story for you as well. Plus the unedited interview that Jim Piggott did with Reuben Ebron's father. It's all there right now on the homepage.
Most of this afternoon's storms came and went early.
But the Weather Authority is still tracking some storms to our west, and John's forecast is coming up next.
Tracking severe weather right down to the neighborhood where you live, Channel 4 is the Weather Authority.
So I was driving up I-95 earlier around 1 o'clock, and you could see this big wall of rain ahead of me, and sure enough, by the time I got to the downtown, it was teeming big. But now it's pretty much faded away there. It's been moving westbound, and as we go out towards the west side, and you can see again, there's 295, the west side looking dry. Argyle Forest had a pretty good downpour. From a rain shower that continues to move on off towards Oakleaf, and will probably continue to move even further out to the west. There's Oakleaf. You can see all the way out there towards Long Branch Cemetery Road. Pretty good downpour here in northern parts of Clay County. The other one that just recently developed is right out here towards Cecil, it says Cecil Naval Air. What do you know? I'll have to change that. Cecil Commerce Center. And again, the runways are right here, and you can see the downpours just out there to the west. Again, there's Normandy. This will cross right over Normandy and continue to move on out towards Baker County. That's going to happen probably within the next 30, 40 minutes. Track that for you real quick, and I'll illustrate how far it'll head on out to the west. So if you live anywhere in the path of this little rainmaker, you could possibly get wet, and that would include all the way out there along 301. And again, down to the south, this area of shower activity. And these are not thunderstorms, they're just downpours. And again, Middleburg, you're just going to get clipped. Looks like it's going to be right there along Blanding. So if you live north of Middleburg, you'll probably get a pretty good downpour there as well. And again, just tracking this one back out to the west. I don't know if it's going to get all the way to Lottie, but it probably get pretty darn close to it before it begins to weaken. And that'll happen by about 7:13. So again, 301 west of town. That's where the action is. In terms of the big picture right now in Jacksonville and parts of Georgia, the answer is not much else is going on along the coast. The next big storm is right out there and through parts of Union County, and this one here is really nasty. It's had quite a bit of lightning. It's about as much lightning I've seen all day with any of these storms, and this particular one will continue to drift on off towards the west, and again is associated with a large area of low pressure that's up above us. And again, Fort White by about 7 o'clock, and just across 75 by about 6:45. It just blew up as it passed right over Lake Butler. Point being, it's not going to be in Jacksonville. We'll see some ugly looking clouds, but we will not see any more rain in the immediate downtown to the beaches. 90 degrees today's high temperature. By the way, we had 2 days back to back. The coolest 2 days since June the 5th back to back, as we had temperatures only in the 80s both yesterday and Saturday. 83 currently at the airport, 86 over Jacksonville Beach. The evening forecast, again, skies will be a little bit bluer back out towards the beaches, but inland storms, they will fade by 10 o'clock, partly cloudy skies thereafter. The big picture, what gives? See this little yellow line? This is a troublemaker. It is illustrated by the forecast models that it could produce some very heavy rains for us, but that probably doesn't happen until the end of the work week. Until then, the little swirl in the upper atmosphere will continue to roll off the coast, and as it does so, it will bring us a patch of dry air tomorrow, but not so much as we go towards the end of the work week as the rain chances build up each and every day. Tom, Mary, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the big days for rain.
Thank you, John.
As we've been telling you, this is day 4 in the search for Lonzie Barton, and our coverage continues.
We will recap what we know after the break.
If you're just joining us, we want to give you a recap of what's happened on the 4th day of searching for Lonzie Barton.
The Sheriff's Office tells us so far they've received 125 tips, including some that have come in from across the country. 16 agencies are assisting in the search, including the FBI and law enforcement from as far away as Miami. As of this evening, about 200 investigators are searching for the little boy. Our Jim Piggott spoke to the father of the man police call a suspect, Reuben Ebron, who says his son is not the monster he is being portrayed to be.
Stay with us. There's more to come.
News 4 Jax continues with Rob and Joy right after the break.